Right. Welcome back to Laugh at the Germ. Um, I'm your host Jeremy, and why this camera's feeling like weirdly low today. I don't know why. My standing desk being weird or something. I'm not sure. Yeah, we're back. I don't even know what to say right now. I'm less than a week out from running probably undoubtedly the fastest marathon of my life. Maybe the fastest one I'll ever run in my entire life. I don't actually know. Um, yeah, we're looking at Sunday. It's Tuesday right now, so I'm just kind of counting down the days. Me and my buddy had this conversation that to be like one of the best runners. I'm not one of the best, but I feel like to be like a really good runner and to avoid psyching yourself out too much, it's best just not to think about how much pain you're gonna endure until you're actually in the pain. I can go on and on about oh my god, thinking about it, this and that, but at the end of the day, it's that's just gonna make it worse. It's the anticipation knowing it's coming. I feel um I was talking to my buddy about this during dinner. Um, I feel like back in the day, half the reason why you got nervous for all these events and stuff was just because you had the free time to get nervous for them. And the older you get, the less time you have to be stressing about this, stressing about that, and you just kind of do it. And I often find the events where you just kind of do it and you don't really think about it, often perform so much better. And I find that in my job too. There's always so much to do all the time that it's I think partially I'm a better scientist just because I'm just always doing it, always overwhelmed with stuff, that it's at a certain point you don't have time to get all worked up about this and that. You just go into it and get it done. So yeah, other than that, for those that you don't know, I think most of you have followed me through this, but I've been running for this marathon I've been training for it for almost half a year now, and to actually see it coming is kind of crazy. It just snuck up, and all of a sudden here it is. It's end of October, and we signed up, and I think we had the idea early June. It's just adult life is so much more about kind of looking at those long-term goals, and then once you actually hit them, it's pretty cool. So before we get into the wisdom of the week, I am not sponsored by Nike, but I do want to go over some of the stuff I'll be rocking for my marathon. I thought it'd be a cool time to show that off. So I have not their flagship shoe, but for this shoe is meant for it's meant for half marathons more because there's just no padding on these boys. But honestly the store I went to, shout out my girlfriend, we went this past Saturday to get my racing stuff, and the store I went to didn't have the exact Nike shoe. The name brand kind of peak model for marathons is called the Vaporflies, and they had them on display there, but the guy claimed that there were no sizes, so I was okay, whatever. So he went ahead and had me try on these kind of lighter shoes, but I'm just gonna rock them for the marathon anyways. And they're called the Alpha Flies, and you're obviously can't feel these, but they are imagine how heavy a piece of Kleenex is. This is how heavy it feels. It's just so light, and you put them on, and I don't know, you probably can't see these, but you can see the light, right? It's literally nothing up here. It's the thinnest, most light mesh ever. You're essentially just running on this 6-inch, 8. I think it's maybe, yeah, I don't even know. This is an inch of padding for the whole time, and but they feel pretty nice. I will say the first couple miles, I really feel my feet, I feel it a lot, and then as I kind of go on in the run, the kind of smacking sound on the pavement kind of goes away, and you can't see it, but I think what keeps the entire shoe actually feeling responsive is this. It has this like carbon. It has this like carbon plated. It just has a carbon plate in it, which is like all the craze right now for running, especially like running races. Like the carbon doesn't have a lot of durability. Like these shoes, most like trainers and stuff last like probably at least 300 miles. Like these trainers, they're just obviously you can tell they're made out of nothing. They last like maybe 100 miles. Like so they're not meant to be durable, but like a racer, you want to be fast. And I shit you now, when you put those shoes on, like you feel like there's like springs in your feet. Like even if you aren't a runner, I'd recommend just going to a store, like any running store, and be like, you don't have to buy them, but just be like, I'm interested in like try, like you could even say I'm interested in buying a carbon plated shoe. Like, could I try a couple on? And like just feeling how they feel on your feet is just insane. Like it doesn't make sense. It really doesn't. But so I got those shoes, and then I got this little like handheld water bottle, like because you're just gonna rip through water like it's crazy. It's 26 miles for a marathon, so like it's quite a bit of stuff. What else I got in here? And then I think because my hair's getting long, I meant to get a haircut before, but I just don't think it's gonna happen. I have like a headband that I'll probably end up wearing. It's kind of like Karate Kid style, and it has this like Nike logo. But my like good friend Justin from back home, he'd always do the signature where you flip it upside down and like push it off to the side. So I think I'm gonna do that just to like shout out Jay a little bit, you know. And then I got like some energy gels, some like with more salt and some with like just carbs and stuff, because like once your body's depleted of carbs, like you start like, I just know this from like biology and stuff, but it's pretty basic knowledge, but I don't know how fat plays into this, but I do know like I'm pretty sure after like your body runs out of carbs, it starts breaking down protein, because that's like the second easiest like way to break, like to get energy is through protein. And then I think after that it resorts to like, I think it'll resort to lipids maybe, or maybe lipids are in this like fats and stuff, but fats like take quite a bit of energy to break down. So like like that's like the last reserve kind of thing. But like if you just constantly keep feeding your body with like protein and carbs throughout the run, like it's just gonna help you like not totally crash. So this is more like a marathon kind of thing, but it's just like liquid. Like you could imagine it like honey. Like you're just taking like carbs straight to the dome to just like basically just keep your body so it doesn't totally crash. And it's definitely important for like cramping and stuff too, because I ran my first marathon in 2021, and like I got to like mile 18, and you just like my quads just started cramping up, and it's just like once you cramp, it's kind of over. So that's kind of like probably one of my biggest fears about this race, is that like I get to 18 and I like start not even feeling it in my lungs or my heart, just like I just like feel that my muscles are about to give out on me, and like it's scary because like there's really nothing you can do. Like you just have to pray you don't get a cramp. Otherwise, if you do, it's like you can't run if your muscles are like literally engaged. So yeah, we'll see how it goes, but really excited for that. That's obviously been on my mind quite a bit. I'm trying to like just focus on work and keep busy at my job to kind of take my mind off it, but you know, it's coming. I'm excited. I'm nervous. It's like I feel like a kid in high school again, like about to run a cross country race, you know. It's like it's exciting, but it's also like super nerve-wracking, and we'll see what happens. But I think kind of based on that, my mind always like in order to like cope with these challenges that I might be facing in my life or things I'm dealing with, I sort of revolve wisdom of the week around these kind of things. And the wisdom of the week for this week is I just, you know, by the title, let it happen. It's just I was doing some thinking this morning. I think recently, like running and outside of running, I've just like been stressing about things that I've put the time in for, yet I feel like I'm still stressing about the result. and marathon is one of these, but also like there's other things too, like, and they're just things that are like completely out of your control, that when they were in your control, and you could get practice and get reps and put the time in. And now that you've put the time in, it's kind of the saying of like, let it happen. Like it'll work out the way it's supposed to work out, right? You don't have to be like philosophical or religious or whatever to like believe that. Like whatever time you put in is like what you're going to get out of the situation, right? And maybe you're treated unfairly in a certain scenario, like, for me, for example, I trained this whole thing, and then, mile 3, I don't know, I like dislocate my knee and I like can't finish. And it's like, oh, 5 months for nothing. That's a little bit like, okay, you feel like you've been treated a little unfairly because you did the whole thing and then it still didn't work. But, other ways you can look at that are like, obviously, like, okay, maybe this just wasn't my race and this is just another challenge that's being thrown at me that I have to overcome, right? And it's like, there's a lot of ways you can look at those situations, but I'm not going to spend too much time focusing on that. What I'm more so focusing on is like, just let the result be what it's going to be, right? You're going to prepare for something. You're going to put the time into something that's in your control, right? And I'm not nervous because like these past 5 months, I've like given it my all. I'll just use the marathon as an example. Like but like the time is now put in, and now like all that's left to do is just run the race, right? Like I could almost say like everything that happens in the relay race is sort of out of my control. Like I'm going to give it my best, and like I'm going to like quote for quote, like let the chips fall where they may, and like the chips I'm sure will fall where they may. And regardless, I'm still going to get something out of it. I, in this training block, like really push myself to the limits and stuff. So, but this goes for other things too. Like I think where my project is at in my lab is another good example. Like, I've been putting the time in and still really haven't seen the results that I've been looking for. And that's just, again, that's out of your control, right? Like you've put in the work to like set up the experiment, design it meticulously. And then even though it's not the answer you were hoping for, like you were able to come to conclusion and find like, okay, this isn't like what I expected. This doesn't support the hypothesis, but it's like the chips have fallen. The data says what it says. Like I can't control what the data says, right? Like, and, yeah, I think that's just something to keep in mind for life in general, like I think it's one thing to feel guilty for, okay, if I did this training block and I skipped like a week, right? Because I was just like getting lazy. Like that's something that, and then it shows in the marathon, like I don't get the time that I'm looking for. It's like, yeah, I understand how you could feel a little guilty, but if every day you're putting the time in and you still don't get the result that you're looking for, the chips still don't fall like how you thought, or how you thought they should, or whatever, X, Y, and Z, it's like, don't get too bummed about that result, because it's like you did the best you can. You put the time in, and for one reason or another, it just didn't work out. And it's not to be like discouraged or anything. Sometimes it just doesn't work out for whatever reason. And I think I actually thinking of Let It Happen in the car today. And then I started singing like, let it happen, let it happen. And it's like, it's a Tame Impala song. Shout out my boy Jack for putting me on Tame like way back in the day. Like junior year of college or something like that. But like, it's not just me that's thinking about this. I say all that to say that like I came up with this idea independently, and like I didn't steal from Tame Impala, and I'm really creative. Like, no, but like I think this is like a popular saying, because I don't know why. I think it's just human nature to like feel like you're in control of everything, and I would say I don't even know. What would you guys think? Like, maybe we can have a little discussion in the comments. Like, what percentage of your life do you truly feel like you have control over? Um, To me, if I'm gonna be honest, I feel like it's see, then you're like you're kind of like bound by your job though and the money you make. Like I would say 50%. 50% of your life I think is truly in your control. And 50% is just kind of out of your hands. It depends on other people. It it just depends on a lot of other things, like driving my car to work, is that in my control that it works? Like, not really. I kind of just have to put faith in the fact that the car will keep running and I can get to work in my car. It's like I would say 50, but maybe it's less than that. I don't know. And maybe some of you think it's more than that, which I don't know. I think if you're thinking it's more than 50, I don't know. You might be a little delusional, but um, yeah, let's leave it up for debate. But just let the chips fall where they may, and we'll see what happens, man. I'm excited. Um, I hope you guys can take this and use it in your life, in some capacity besides running a marathon. Maybe it's, I don't know, asking a girl out on a date, or like, you know, waiting to hear back about like a house you put in for, or like something you like, a job you applied for, or something like that. Just like, hopefully this can give you some peace, and like the fact that it's like, it's gonna happen how it happens. So with all that being said, next week I'll give you the debrief on how the marathon goes, and um, I hope you guys are excited for me. We'll see. We'll see how it goes, and um, we'll catch you next week. Thanks for tuning in to Life of the Germ, and we'll see you later.